name is Chloe. This is a presentation for Siena Heights University, Dr. Mary Raymond's PCM 340 Professional Speaking. This is an informative speech on working with others in the workplace. The topics presented here will discuss the easiest way to work with others in the workplace, coworkers, management, subordinates, and outside vendors that you may encounter during daily operations within your workplace, as well as some ways to resolve conflicts that may arise within each of those hierarchical groups. During your day-to-day activities, you will more than likely interact mostly with coworkers. Those are people who rank on the same level as yourself within the company. These people could have the same job title as you, or they could be doing completely different jobs but in the same vicinity. But they will be obviously the people who you spend the most time with during the day. When I was working on the ambulance, I was with my EMT partner sometimes over 100 hours a week. We worked a lot, and more often than not, I spent more holidays and special occasions with him than I did with my own family. Believe it or not. There has to be a certain level of regard and respect that you hold for your coworkers, and vice versa. You will spend a lot of time with them. Typical people spend 40 hours a week with their coworkers, but a level of camaraderie could go a long way within the walls of your business, to hold the place together and to make sure that everyone and everything runs just that tiny bit smoother. One quote that I'd like to quote from our textbook from this semester was Business and Professional Communication in a Digital Age by Waldeck, Kearney, and Plax. It's from chapter 5, page 94. It's about collaborating with others, which is great for this informational section here. Effective, productive organizations cannot exist without people being able to work together in teams, building consensus, making decisions, and solving problems. What that's trying to say is that building those teams and creating great working groups is how we can build a great company. And the only way to do that is by starting out with a foundation of just simply people working together effectively. And sometimes there are coworkers that can be difficult or stressful to deal with. They can come in a wide variety and wide range of reasons, such as disorganization, unreliability, or even just unlikability. While there are some serious offenses that definitely need to be taken to managers right away, such as harassment or deceit or safety issues, there are some things like minor offenses, like an occasional rude remark or being unorganized in the workplace, like a dirty desk or lunch left in a trash can, a smelly lunch left in a trash can overnight or something like that. That can be taken to a coworker first. There are things to keep in mind when addressing issues in the workplace. First, remember that everyone has differences and that we're not all going to get along with each other 100% of the time. I can tell you, me and my sister, we lived together for almost 20 years and we still don't even get along even after how long living apart from each other. So working with someone, you're definitely not going to get along with them, even just being together 40 hours a week. So just remember that. Secondly, being respectful when addressing issues and being mindful of how you come across to the other person. Don't make it seem like an attack on them. You don't want them to feel disrespected or hurtful or hurt on the inside. Lastly, when that person does correct their behavior, don't continue to bring up the past negative behavior or the issue. It's like rubbing a dog's nose in the urine on the carpet. You don't want to keep bringing that up. Move past the issue and begin to build from there. Compliment them later on if they do something right or if they're beginning to work on their issues. that's something good. You want to make sure that you're building on that relationship and moving forward from there. If the issues aren't resolved after talking with the coworker, then you can move your way to management at that point in time. Speaking of management, working with management is a whole beast in itself because there can be different levels within management that have different rules within themselves to work through. Finding a great workplace is hard enough these days, but finding a great workplace with a great management team is even harder. When you can find a manager that cares about you and your team on a personal level, as well as a professional level, that wants to see you grow and blossom as a person in life and career, is a wonderful thing. Some people are incredibly lucky to have that kind of support and mentorship in their lives. When you're not so lucky to have that in your life, you have to kind of tiptoe around the situation and find ways to manage your everyday life at work. There's a great old saying that employees don't leave jobs, they leave managers. And that's something that I personally believe in because I've seen it in my own career paths, and many others that I know will attribute to it as well. And I'm definitely one to say that because I've seen it personally now in my own career at my job that I have currently. Working with managers and upper management teams can be stressful sometimes because it can seem as if they don't care for the little guy, or sometimes they're not even there because they're all on salary and they're all at home. The easiest ways to work effectively with management is to try to be, excuse me, as accommodating as possible, but stand your ground if it's something you honestly believe in. Ask questions when you need clarification. Even if you need to ask multiple questions, there's no such thing as a stupid question. Keep asking the same question if you have to, even if they get annoyed with you. Keep asking it. If you still need clarification, keep asking. And then hire help when you need mediation. If you don't feel like you're getting the help that you need, if you don't feel like you're being taken seriously, keep asking for help. There's no reason why anybody should feel like they don't get the help that they deserve or they're not getting the help that they need. Keep asking for help. Keep taking it one step higher and higher until you get the help that you need. That's what managers are there for. That's what they get paid for. So get the help that you need. Keep going one step ahead. A part of a manager's duties is to mentor and foster those relationships with their employees, but also to be able to resolve any of the conflicts that may arise in the workplace. If they're not holding up the end of the bargain, then you have that right to move up higher in the chain to get what you need. When you feel like you and your boss don't have the greatest working relationship, the first step that you can always try is to have a conversation with them. Try to get to know them a little bit better. Attempt to see how they work, how they trust their employees, how they trust their other managers, how they trust their higher up managers, and what you can do to work better for them. It may be hard to relate to them, and if you feel that if they're not a great boss, but it may be a misunderstanding or at least a temporary relief to try to get more understanding on how they work until you can get a change either in the workplace or a change of the workplace. If you find yourself in the position of being the manager and you're mentoring subordinates or dealing with the conflicts of outside vendors or clients and customers, then you'll have to make sure that you're taking care to ensure your duties are being fulfilled to the best of your abilities for your staff under you. Being transparent with your team and setting a good example for the rest of the team to lead is the best way for your team to know that they can trust in you and gain your respect. According to Robert Half, the leading job recruiter company in Australia, an effective manager sets a good example and gains trust from their teams by valuing the input from their teams, resolving conflict effectively, and developing diverse strategies to stay ahead of the game in terms of team dynamic skills, Dealing with outside vendors or clients and customers can either be a positive experience or a negative one. And trust me, we've all seen a negative one when it goes really negative. When it begins to go south and turn in that negative direction as a manager, you're the one that's expected to step in and be the one to begin the process of turning it back around again. And there's some ways that can be done, and the first one is listening to them. Like really listening, opening your ears and actually tuning into what they have to say. Sometimes all someone really wants is for them to actually listen to them and hear what they have to say instead of just staring at them with your eyes glazed over and just waiting for them to stop so you can get back to work. Because I know a lot of people that actually do that at work. Once you've heard what they actually have to say, apologize for the situation and then give them an actual action plan on how you can help rectify the situation. At the point that you've stepped in as a manager, they've probably heard the runaround at least 100 times, so they don't want to hear it again. They just want their problem resolved. If it can be resolved, then do it. If it can't be resolved, try to at least do something for them. This shows the client or your customer that you have respect for them and you aren't just trying to push them away. And it also regains their trust again. Some things that you can do for yourself as you're coming into the workplace to be able to make it easier on yourself, to work with others, is to communicate respectfully and listen actively to those you speak with. Attempt to be non-confrontational as possible, engage in small talk, and be trustworthy. Being trustworthy is a large factor in the business world, especially in management, as it's key not to reveal others' personal information. That's a big one. You don't want to be known as someone who tells people's personal information or is known as a snitch or gossip or anything like that, running around telling people other information. Developing trust with coworkers and subordinates can go a long way in the workplace, and that can be done one way by not disclosing that information about other coworkers and by also communicating respectfully to all other employees at all times, showing other employees the value that they bring to the company and that you also bring value, but not in a self-absorbed way or a cocky way. Will show that you have confidence in yourself to lead or to take on your position in a way, if you're not a manager or a leader, in a way that others will have trust in your ability as well. There are nuances within the different levels of the workplace hierarchy, however subtle or pronounced it may be, whether it be between coworkers, management, or clients and customers. Working with others in the workplace can be difficult, even in the easiest circumstances. You'd think it would be, but with some guidance and patience, it can go a long way in helping everyone enjoy their time at work even just a little bit more. That has been my presentation today on